All right, RicoCap University, we're back in session. Lesson is on. What we're covering today for beginners and newer traders is why most traders fail. The number one reasons, I think, why we're gonna get into that, how you can improve this, things you can take from this video right here, right now to become better and be ready for market open the next day. So let's get into it right now. Now, number one, why I think a lot of traders fail is because number one, they don't have a plan. A lot of times when traders just get into trades, they're just trading to do whatever, right? No charting, no plan, no trend lines, no nothing on their charts. Number one, that's the first thing you need to do is have a plan. How do you have a plan? Well, you got to have a chart. You got to have analysis. You got to have a chart. You got to have something on your chart that tells you when and where to be buying and selling, right? For me, I use the RicoCap zones. If you don't know what these zones are, the RicoCap zones is my strategy. I came up with this years ago. For right now, it is free to all RicoCap members. Right now, it is not free to everyone, but if you want this, you become a member, Rico Capital. Now, again, you need to have a plan. This is how I won big on Monday and Tuesday and led the team to massive wins. One of the first thing is this, especially at new all-time highs. These zones are pretty easy. They tell us where buyers are at, green, supply, sellers, where sellers are at, red. So they tell us where the sellers are sitting, where the buyers are sitting. From there, we can understand where to be buying and where to be selling, right? These arrows also help out a lot. See this green arrow right here, tell us when to buy. Red arrow right here also tells us when likely sellers are stepping in or buyers are kind of exhausted and kind of, being done for now. And you can see red arrow and we came down a little bit more. Then green arrow showed right back up after that. And you see that we kind of just trickled there higher on Friday. Now, how did I catch such a big move Monday and Tuesday, these 2 days right here, which was August the 3rd, August the 4th? How did I catch this? Super easy. Again, my strategy, and you got to have a strategy. So if you're a beginner trader, I want you to maybe get on TradingView, tradingview.com. It's free, sign up. Maybe just get on indicators and just kind of search up anything, right? There's a just plethora of tools and indicators, strategies, patterns, things you can use. And all you got to do is just kind of pick one and run with it. Yes, this is going to take a little bit of time for you to get something, that works for you. I've tried a lot of different strategies when I first started trading out. I was trading a lot of different things. You find what's best fits you. And one of the best things for me is I like trading big tech. I like big tech. I like the way the options move on big tech. Okay, so once you kind of get down what you like trading, then you get down to how can I, what strategy works best for that? EMAs, right? Moving averages, things like that. What are something volume, gaps? What are something that helps? MA crosses, volatility, boiler bands, things like that. So you got to play around. And of course, I want you guys to actually give RicoCap zones a try. Now, we opened up on Monday and we opened up above the zone. Usually when we open up a zone, we go higher to the next zone to zone, as I say to my members, zone to zone, they know this. And so we run to the next zone. Again, we opened up and pushed. It's that simple. A lot of people overcomplicate stuff because they don't know what they're doing. Know what you're doing, have a good strategy, and of course, know where to buy, know where to sell. Now, poor risk management is number two. Number two, that's a big one. Poor risk management. A lot of people just keep full porting their trades. Each trade, you can go 5, 6, 7 trades in a row, win. But if on the 8th trade or 9th trade you full port and lose that trade, your risk management is done. Your portfolio is done for because you're just adding a full size each time, which makes 0 sense. How do I kind of combat that? First, I do this. I take 1 to 3 trades a day at most, with my number one trade of the day being my highest winning, high conviction trade. So I know I can size up on that. Very rare do I go heavy, like full port. I do full port if I know it's a banger setup like this where I've played it a million times. I'm 9-10 years into this. When I know a setup that's going to work because I played it and won on it a million times, I know when to go heavy. If you guys don't know that, one thing I want you to do is just kind of stick with a consistent small size, and then from there work on letting things kind of run and work, and then work on your stop losses. So that's big. Risk management. So of course, risk management, there's a lot of things. being able to use stop losses, right? Know what a stop loss is. If right here we're entering above this zone, at no point do I expect this to come down here. Price. I expect this to go higher if I'm buying calls and expecting a move higher. I'm longing, I'm going higher. I expect this to go higher here. If we come down into this area, this is not what I'm looking for. And in fact, we are under that zone. That's where I would stop out. I have these zones kind of my stops. I know that if I enter up here and we come down and we open up down here, then I will stop out. Now, if we wick a little bit, that's different. Wicking does the damage. The body kind of tells you where the price is actually going. The wick is always going to do the damage, right? Because you can see right here, just that that previous day, it wicked but held, and then you would have missed out if you somehow stopped out down here and then it completely ran. So you got to be able to know where your stops and stuff like that. For me, I keep it with my strategy, so I know exactly where to be at with the trade. So of course, price action is going to tell you where that is. Again, kind of more into the management is, no overtrading, no unrealistic expectations, no emotional trades. A lot of that is stuff you're going to run into as a beginner trader. You don't want to be revenge trading, right? That's an emotional trade, right? You get in, you stop out, say your stops were way too conservative, you weren't sticking to your strategy, you got nervous, your emotions were high, you stopped out for a small loss, and you're like, okay, and then you see the trade start working, and then you're like, oh my God, you watch it run, you miss out, right? You miss out because you're having a bias, you miss out on the next day it runs, and then you see that the next day it opens up. That's where you're like, all right, now I'm emotionally charged up. I am now chasing this. Down here was the perfect entry, but you let it stop out. I am now revenge trading and chasing this up here now. And then you enter, and of course, that's when it sells and pulls down, and you stop out for a bigger loss. This is what happens a lot. I see this all the time with traders in the market. The market is a psychological being. It is a lot of psych. So you need to be able to understand that as well, that a lot of traders did exactly what I just described. It wasn't just you. It wasn't just you in this trade. A lot of other traders did exactly the same thing as you. And so you got to be able to keep that in mind and be able to understand that this does happen. So one way is sticking to your rules and things like that. No emotional trading, no over trading, no sizing heavier because you just stopped out and now you're trying to make it back. It's not how it goes. Again, have some patience in the trade, no emotions, have that risk management. So that's honestly one of the best thing to do. So one thing for you guys, I would say as your day one fix is make sure you get your charts down. Make sure you get an indicator or something that really helps you out. Second, I want you guys to only kind of be entering a trade that you are very familiar with. If you've seen us hit a channel like this, and a channel pattern like this, and you know that when we break out of it is when is a good entry to go long, especially when we touch that channel and a demand like that, then yes, you can slam calls there, and of course it's going to work out. Notice how if you would have took calls here at 769 on SPY on Friday on that low, literally an hour later is at 774 perfectly. So over a $5 move, if you went 1 days or lottos, again, you would have made money. Knowing where you're at on the market is a big one. So day one fix is get your charts right. Go find a really good indicator, something that really helps you out. Add some trend lines, make sense of the chart. That's what's going to help. More data gives you more options buys you time, and that's where you can make money. So of course, be prepared. Preparation is what's going to get you there as well. Now, let me give you guys the wake-up call. So finding the perfect strategy, like I said, and the hidden killers, psychological discipline process. Most of these traders are, bouncing around strategies. And so if you don't find one that you want to really stick with, that it works, of course, nothing's perfect. Nothing's always going to be 100%. But if you stick with one thing and run with it, that's where you're going to find success, right? If I went through a lot of indicators when I was like, hold on, I know I'm seeing something in the market. I have a finance background. I'm passionate about this. I studied the charts and learned it. And after winning nonstop for a few years, I realized that the market changes every year. I need to find something that's consistent, even in any market, on any chart, whatever. How can I do that? One way, and that's where I came up with the RicoCap zones. It took me 1 year to really sit down, draw them out, see understand what I'm seeing, then back test them for a year, meaning now I'm playing them with my own money, using options and how I could make this and perfect it. And then from there, I brought it to the masses to see what will people think. And from there, people loved it. So RicoCap was born, the group was born, and we have been killing it nonstop, knowing where we're at in the market with the RicoCap zones. Huge. I wouldn't be talking about this as if it wasn't worth talking about. I promise. I don't like speaking if there's no information behind it and something to help. So again, a lot of times your strategy might not even be the problem, but for right now, I think the strategy could be the problem. I doubled down on this and completely kind of keep working and bettering and understanding the zones. Trust the zones. A lot of times when I first started trading, I didn't trust the zones. When I saw that the zones say we're going higher, right? We opened up above the zone. I'd be like, wow, I don't want to buy calls here. It's saying I need to buy calls. Let's buy calls. And I buy the calls and then it works. And I'm just like, oh, wow, I need to stop doubting, a lot of times. So once you can, find a strategy and can, build off it, you can become better, add more things, redefine, make it your own, things like that. So that's the, number one thing when it comes to that as well, right? And of course, forget FOMO, stop paying attention so much of all these traders that I just made thousands of dollars on this and that, trading this and that. Stop jumping around. Get a watch list, make a small watch list, watch it, of course, get to know the stocks, right? They have a life of their own. Each name has a life of their own. They move in different ways. And then from there, of course, being able to know them better, you can make better trades and decisions like that. So everything I said right now, again, a lot of this is a checklist thing, and I want you guys to kind of write it down, have that checklist, and be able to say, all right, I marked all these boxes off. Preparation is there. Now, after all of that, you can really hit the charts, start learning and things like that. Again, this takes time. It takes time. It's not a get rich overnight thing. It's investing, it's trading, it's knowing where we're at in the market, it's showing up. Showing up is half the battle. If you like this, if you want to make money, it's going to be a very profitable and a beautiful thing for you. You can make money in anything, right? Think about it. If you own a business or if you do anything that takes money, again, losing money, making money is a part of just entrepreneurship, right? If you're a baker and you have a bakery and you wake up and no one came and bought anything from you, but you still had 3 employees and kept the lights on and baked a lot of products, but no one bought anything for you that day, did you lose money? Of course you did. Same thing as trading. If you wake up and made a trade and lost, you lost some money. Think of it like expenses for the day, right? So if anything, there's no real overhead on this. It's just trading your money. So that's the cool thing about it. So I'm going to leave you guys with one last thing, as this is more education for you guys, RicoCap University. I would say the 5 rules that stop kind of why beginner traders lose. These are the 5 rules. Core angle, right? I would say structure your charts, structure how you do things in a sequence. I have things down to a science, right? When it comes to my charts, when it comes to, I would say, option selection, things like that, right? I don't go super far out the money, 1 to 3 strikes at most. I'm looking for a specific price, a specific entry, specific everything. Everything is specific. So be very specific, have make 5 non-negotiable rules for yourself and stick to those. And if each of the criteria doesn't fit for the trade, don't take the trade. You can always watch to see what would happen and take notes of that, of course. And of course, write down, this would be the next rule, is just write down, your maximum risk per trade, of course. Set a daily max loss win. And when you hit that, walk away. A lot of times, I'm the king of the open. I love to make my money first in the first hour, first 2 hours at max, and I'm done for the day. I need to walk away. Unless I come back at the last hour for swing trading, that's really it, right? We had a banger swing trade on NVIDIA this past week. Caught it over, a massive move. You can see my chart still here. I saw it flagging, huge big move or above that demand, and we absolutely rocketed and ran to my, next target up, which we actually did win a little bit more than that, which was awesome. But, huge swing move on NVIDIA this week that I absolutely, perfectly nailed. And how I did that was, again, just knowing how, where, and of course my indicator and charts max losses, max wins, everything all comes together into one thing. And when it comes together, you know, that's when you know you're going to make a lot of money, and it's a good feeling as well. So of course, have that, write down your max risk, of course. Never increase size, right, until you have consistency. That was a big thing. Never increase your size until you have 30 days consistency, weeks of consistency. Once you do that, that's when you start leveling up and pushing up. It's a gradual thing. It's not an overnight, all right, now I'm trading 10K, now I'm doing 20K, now I'm doing 50K. No, start with $1,000 or less. Start with $100, start with $200, start with $300, start with $100. Take one contract. Let's see how it does. It's just on a smaller time frame or a smaller percentage. Once you can really lock that in, you can really add a little bit more money and amplify the wins. And of course, being able to stick to your losses and things like that. So of course, these are a lot of the rules that I give out, and hopefully you guys are learning a lot. I wanted to give you guys this video to be able to hopefully help out a lot of beginners out there. This is why I'm doing the education. So follow along. Again, if you're new to the channel or don't know who I am, Rio Capital, I'm king of the open. I make a lot of traders profitable. Go follow me on Rio Capital on Twitter, on X. And of course, if you want to become a member of Rio Capital, get my trades, get RicoCap AI, you know, get my one-on-one, get live trading, whatever you need, you can sign up at wap.com/RicoCapital. So appreciate y'all watching. Keep an eye on the next educational video, and I'll see you guys on the next video.